When we thought about Angry Birds 2, we thought, well, what is the audience going to be expecting from the movie? Probably going to expect more battles between birds and pigs. And we really wanted to do something that surprises people. And so that led us to the idea, what if something big happens and it causes the birds and pigs to have to team up and work together?
We're gonna need a bigger slingshot.
Piggy Island!
Zeta is threatening both the birds and the pigs. And for the first time, they gotta join together.
All of a sudden, pigs want a truce.
So two enemies team up to fight a bigger enemy, and it's great because it expands the universe and expands what we know about the Angry Birds world.
It was definitely a challenge, but everything we do is a team.
We had a really solid team, so we could make it funnier and more beautiful as we went.
Without fail, I think pretty much everybody came back.
What?
And I think it's a testament to the joy and the fun of the first film, but also to the promise of the sequel. I was like, okay, this has potential to be as good, if not better. And I think they've really hit it out of the park.
It's almost a reverse hero's journey in that Red starts off the movie as a hero. He's the leader and very well respected in the community.
I'm sorry, guys. We're taking over the blue line. Official business.
Of course, anything for you, Red.
So when the birds first get the balloon from the pigs, Red really resists that idea.
Dear birds, we humbly request a truce. Can we talk? What? No! This is just another one of their pranks.
He's angry because he's scared.
I'm not afraid of anything.
And he doesn't like that. And so the whole movie is kind of him dealing with his anger and trying to muscle through his difficulties to save the planet.
Kind of bums Red out a little bit. He doesn't think he's going to be a hero anymore. And so now the birds and the pigs are no longer enemies. They're actually now frenemies.
We gotta stop that super weapon.
Jinx!
Oh.
The fun of having them team up was we get to have these guys that don't really totally trust each other bumping heads a little bit. We got a lot of jokes out of that.
As you can clearly see, this is a volcano. Volcano is what my assistant was going to say. Assistant? You're the assistant. Go. Nope. No.
The last question that we asked ourselves was, well, who's the new villain? So we looked to the DNA of our own world, and we said, well, what about this world is different than everything else? And we had Mighty Eagle, and he's actually the only bird in this world that's able to fly. Well, where did Mighty Eagle come from?
We learned there's actually a third island called, wait for it, Eagle Island.
Eagle Island!
Yes!
Eagle Island is this rugged, frozen tundra, which is the exact opposite of what Bird and Pig Island are. So the tropical islands of Bird and Pig Islands, we used really warm palettes, lots of greens and cyan-colored water, where on Eagle Island, it's very stark and there's a lot of blues and whites. It was definitely a challenge on the film because snow responds so significantly to the different light sources, like colors and positions of light. And so I think a lot of time was spent on that. We really wanted to accentuate the coldness.
Oh, that looks cold.
This helps make Zeta's motive clear. We even wanted to accentuate that by designing her lair. So she's carved out palm trees out of ice, tiki bar out of ice, a swimming pool out of ice, but still at the end of the day, it's cold.
My limbs are beginning to numb.
Zeta is in charge of Eagle Island, and she's so sick and tired of how cold her island is.
So she has, let's just say, a weapon that launches huge ice boulders, and she's planning to conquer the other islands.
I'm done. I'm done living on this frozen, sill-infested iceberg of an island. Fire another ice ball!
The ice volcano was a blast to design. From the exterior, we wanted it to look like a natural, icy volcano.
But they all have the same look, so we wanted to make it our own thing and kind of slanted everything, like the tectonic plates kind of pushed it sideways.
From the interior, we wanted to be this whimsical and beautiful super weapon. We wanted to make something that was kid-friendly, yet still intimidating. And we looked at a lot of marble machines and gumball machines and roller coasters. So at the very top is where the ice balls are made, and then they're injected with this hot lava, and then they roll down this ice luge where they're shot out of this cannon type thing. It was always the question, like, how is the ice containing this hot lava?
That's not
possible?
But the logic sometimes is thrown out the window with comedy.
You just gotta get a polyacrylamide to enhance the nanoparticle and surfactant association between the two materials.
Okay.
And we also had to come up with a whole new group of birds for the Eagle Island and populate that place, which was very challenging in itself. We ended up coming up with a pretty clever system. We probably made about 10, but by mixing and matching them, you could just have unlimited variations.
My favorite character is the seal because he's cute and he's furry and he's a rascal.
You better not wink at me. Don't you wink at me.
If I was stuck on Eagle Island for a day, I would hang out with the little seal.
I would convert the lava into a heating system, and I'd bring those cool yellow puffy jackets.
I would probably do what our Angry Birds did and get into an eagle costume and just act like an eagle.
Woohoo! We got this! We must look amazing!
John, our producer, had that idea that they get in by being in an eagle costume, and we all saw the potential and how funny that could be.
The Harvey costume itself is truly the concept of the movie, all brought together in one idea, which is the birds and pigs forced to work together.
What's going on down there?
It was pretty hilarious, and the voice that Bill Hader does is awesome. It had me crying.
Hello, fellow eagle gods.
Oh, no, he's doing a voice.
Harvey was harder than I thought he was going to be. Usually in animation, you're trying to avoid stiff movement, but in this case, we wanted to do stiff movement.
It's hard to get animators, especially terrific animators like the ones we have that worked on our movie, to not animate well. You want Harvey to look like a bad costume, kind of like a mascot for a football team or something.
We kind of build this moment where Harvey does a dance past a guard who we think is gonna bust him, and we kind of wanted to revisit that character and take that little story a step further.
We're in!
I want to see...
No, Chuck, hold on.
my case. Move over a little bit.
Uh-oh.
So me and one of the storyboard artists, Steve Raggio, we went to college together and both of us breakdanced. And we were more terrible than Harvey at breakdancing, but I knew when we had a breakdancing scene that C had to do it because, man, he knocked it out of the ballpark.
It's like a little popping and locking.
A little what?
I like doing the big kind of comedy pieces, so the breakdancing was pretty fun. It's fun to work on that kind of stuff when you get that instant reaction from people.
Like, who would have guessed that if you breakdanced a little bit back in college that you would end up having to draw a sequence of a bunch of birds and pigs in a costume breakdancing? So it's like, why not? Let's do it. It's funny.
There's something so unbelievably funny about this movie that is almost like a laugh a minute.
Oh, BT dubs, you misspelled heist. It's EI, not IE. I corrected it for you. Don't worry, it's a common misperception.
Well, thank you.
I think that the comedy of Angry Birds really plays to the top of everyone's intelligence who made it. It doesn't try to pander to kids. It's just jokes that you would make writing for any screenplay. And I think kids will appreciate that. And adults.
Someone's coming. Quick, hide.
Ow. It's a family movie. It's beautifully made. I mean, the colors, the voices, the camaraderie.
Thank you. I like her.
Our director, Thurop Van Orman, created a bunch of great shows on Cartoon Network, and Thurop is so terrifically talented and funny, and I think is the big reason this movie is as funny as it is.
I think the reason that it's really funny is because we had a really solid story that people were immersed in, and so we could surprise you with jokes. But I'm really proud of the emotions in this movie that we tracked with Red and could make this grumpy, funny guy a little more vulnerable.
What I love about Red is the fact that he changes from the beginning movie to the end of the movie. The themes of working together and trying to empathize with your fellow man, or bird, I think are important.
Red learns he is much more productive, and he gets further, as we all do, if we just learn to get along and we work together as a team.
A lot of the artists who work on this movie, and just a lot of artists in general, you get into art because you want to retreat into your own world. You want to do your own thing. You don't want anyone telling you what to do. And then we all work together and are all told what to do. And you all have to work with all these other people, and it's way harder than if you just got to do whatever you wanted to do by yourself. But it comes out so much better in the end because you had all this input from all these other people who are all amazing.
Ed, I didn't do this all on my own.
Right. Because we're a team.
What impressed me most about my first job in animation was the other artists that I was working with. It felt like I had found my place in the world. It was like, oh, I belong here. These are my people. And I still feel that way after 30 years in the business. For kids who are interested in getting into animation, I would say draw a lot. If you love doing it, you're going to get good at it, and eventually you'll find your place.
I would say just be a student of animation, of drawing, of illustration, of composition.
Just let your imagination go and don't be afraid to try anything, because you never know what it's going to lead to.
Yeah, just do it. Just get in there and practice.
The other thing that I would say is it's really about relationships. It's always working well with people because it really takes a team effort to make it happen.
We are strongest when we all band together, just like Superstring.
Okay, Gary, now, own it.